Hello Tigo subscribers out there, my name is Henrietta from the Tigo Cash team, and as we promised earlier, we've managed to get an exclusive interview with John Apea, who plays Junior in Home Sweet Home. Junior, thank you for this audience. How do you do today?
Well, thanks for having me, Henrietta. I'm very well, thank you, and thanks to Tigo Cash for having me here as well.
So John, we had an influx of questions coming in just for you, but before we go on to those, can you tell us a bit of your life on set and off set?
Well, in Home Sweet Home, I play a character called Junior. Some call it the bad boy, but I think he's pretty much of a good boy. My character is modeled on lots of other characters like Theo and Cosby Show, Will Smith and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But basically, I think my character is a character that a lot of people could identify with, because Junior did all the things that young boys probably did. You know, when he was younger, he used to steal checks from his parents to go and cash it just to be able to take girls out to restaurants. When he grew a little bit older, he started stealing tires from the garage and going to sell it just so that he could take girls out to restaurants again. You know, and as he got older, in the last season of Home Sweet Home, you saw Junior as an investment banker who some people are chasing to try and get their cash back because he's lost it on the stock market. So I think all throughout you've seen Junior at different stages playing someone that a lot of people could identify with, someone who thinks he has to be a hustler. And that's why I think a lot of people probably like the character. Yeah, so that's pretty much the character of Junior, and we're very happy that Tigo Cash came to sponsor this episode of Home Sweet Home, and it's going very well.
Great. Tigo Cash has been very happy to sponsor the new series of Home Sweet Home. And can you tell us from your perspective, why the collaboration with Tigo Cash? What's the connection in here?
Well, Home Sweet Home has always been a record breaker. We've always been ahead of what everyone else was doing when we started in 2003. And I think there's a lot of similarities between Home Sweet Home and the Tigo brand itself, because the Tigo brand represents innovativeness and freshness. And to be honest, I think Tigo Cash is probably one of the most innovative programs ever rolled out by Tigo. And so I think it's a perfect marriage. So, you know, we're very happy to align this brand, the Tigo Cash brand, with our brand of Home Sweet Home, because it's about a modern Ghanaian family and their lifestyle, and the way Tigo Cash is actually changing the way money moves around and financial transactions in this country. We think it's a perfect fit with what we are trying to communicate through the Sapon family, on a family that is current, is modern, and is very efficient. And I think it fits very much with what we're trying to communicate with the Sapon family on their everyday dealings, from finance to social transactions. I think it works.
Okay, so let's now move on to the questions from our subscribers on the fan page, because that's why we are here. We want them to know more about what you do on and off the scene. So let's go to the questions from them. Sweet Dimples want to know, was acting part of your dreams from childhood?
Was acting always part of my childhood dreams? Well, Sweet Dimples, I'll tell you, it was not. When I was younger, I wanted to be a zookeeper. So I told my parents, because I think I'd seen it in a film. And I told my parents I want to be a zookeeper. And my parents said, hey, you want to be a zookeeper? Eh? Okay, you wait here. So they probably left the room, and my mom came with a cane. At which point I was like, no, okay, I don't want to be a zookeeper. I want to be a doctor. You know, so that's what I wanted to be when I was younger. I wanted to be a doctor, but I loved films. My mom loved films, my dad loved films. But being from an African family, we never saw films as being something that can be a career. We just saw it as something that was just entertainment to watch. But later on in life, in my teenage years, I had that moment of clarity where I realized that, okay, you know what? This is exactly what I want to do. Even though it took quite some time to be able to convince my parents that that's exactly the career path for me, I made it in my mind. It was in my mind that that's what I wanted to do. And so I decided to follow it. So that's the answer for you, Sweet Dimples.
Abdul Wahab also wants to know what made you who you are today. Are there any people or experiences that influenced you, or perhaps a role model?
Well, Abdul Wahab, I'll tell you what made me today is failure. I say what made me today is failure because I think you can never succeed in anything until you failed many times. And a lot of people don't realize that success and failure are two sides of the same coin. As a young man, or as a teenager, I started university and I dropped out of university. But then I went on to go to one of the best universities in the world, Oxford University, where I graduated with honors. And what that showed me is the fact that impossible is nothing, which is one of my favorite lines. I know it's a line from a well-known manufacturer, but impossible is nothing. And for me, what made me today is the fact that I was able to believe in myself, that whatever I wanted to be or whatever I wanted to become, it was possible. And besides that, I think having particular role models as well helped me. But with my role models, I like to put them in 3 different strands. My first role model is God, all the time. My second role model, I love Kwame Nkrumah, what he did. I love Gandhi, Martin Luther King. I love Barack Obama, and many others. And the third part of my role models is just the average person, or what we call the average person. You know, anyone who's hustling every day to put food on the table for their family, or who believes in a dream and is very resilient, and when they fall, they rise again. That person is my hero as well, and a role model. So I think I have all different types of role models, but all those people and seeing how people fall and rise again has made me who I am.
One other fan, Kwabna Bonsu, wants to know what advice you would give to the young ones who want to follow your footsteps.
Well, Kwabna Bonsu, all I'll say is that you have to be ready. Oprah Winfrey famously said that success is opportunity meeting preparation. So if one day the opportunity will come, you have to make sure you're prepared. And for me, being prepared, if you want to be an actor, for instance, means that if you have the opportunity to study something that will enhance you being a better actor, then take it. It's not all of us who've always had the opportunity, maybe for financial reasons or what other reasons. But I think it's all about being prepared, having that passion, keeping your eyes on the prize and having that focus, and being prepared such that when the opportunity arises, you're ready to take it. And just know that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard, but just be prepared. That's the advice I'll give.
Bernard Amwa wants to know if you've ever lived abroad, and where in Ghana do you come from? I think perhaps it's because of your accent.
Bernard Amwa, you want to know where I come from in Ghana, right? I come from a place called Enum Asoja in the eastern region of Ghana. And yes, I've lived abroad. I've lived in many countries. My father worked for the UN, so I was fortunate to live in Paris, America, Canada, where else? Nigeria, obviously Ghana, where I spent my formative years, and the United Kingdom. Yeah, United Kingdom, apart from Ghana, is actually where I've spent the most amount of my time. I've lived there, I've studied there, and yeah, next to Ghana is probably my second or third home, I'll say.
Alice Afi Paula wants to know what is the one thing you cannot live without and why?
Ooh, Alice, that's a difficult question. Will probably be my mobile phone. Because with my mobile phone, I can do anything. If I'm stuck on an island or anything. With my mobile phone, I can send Tigo Cash around to start off with. I can send emails, I can do work, I can call my loved ones. So I think my mobile phone, as long as I have some credit on it, is the one thing I can't live without. Yeah, I think so.
Joel Allah wants to know what has been your biggest challenge in your life. If you've had any challenges, tell us about it.
What has been my biggest challenge? Joel, thanks very much for a very difficult question. Perhaps I haven't met my biggest challenge yet. Life is full of challenges every day. But from what I'm told, parenting is the biggest challenge ever, and I'm not there yet. So probably that will be my biggest when I get there. But for now, I don't really see challenges. I know it sounds cliched, but I just see them as daily life, you know, that you have to go through and just persevere. But I haven't had anything that I've seen as a big challenge yet. But when I do, Joel, I'll hit you up. I'll let you know.
One Mr. Boateng, George, wants to know what your weaknesses are, or perhaps you don't have any.
What are my weaknesses? I'll tell you what my weaknesses are. Chocolate. I love me some chocolate. You know, for our most recent film that we shot a film called Elmina. And I wasn't meant to play that role, so I put on, I think about 2-3 stone for the role. And the director told me I had to eat a lot of chocolate. And so after I started eating a lot of chocolate, I became addicted to chocolate. So I love chocolate at the moment.
Abraham Odonko asks, what has been the best moment in your life? Your ever best moment? Just give us one.
Oof.
I'm sure you had a lot.
Well, since this film is about my entertainment side, my best moment within those spheres is when we won the African Academy Awards for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay at the African Movie Academy Awards, and when we won Best Picture at the Pan-African Film Festival in Los Angeles. Just being there, the energy was so electric. I'd never been in an award show like that, and I was given one of the awards by Angela Bassett, who I absolutely love. She's one of my favorite actresses, and she gave me one of the awards, and it was an amazing time. The whole place was electric, and I remember they made a slight mistake when they were actually mentioning the person who had won Best Picture. The man who came to read the category before mentioned Best Picture, and they mentioned John Apea and Revell Films, and I was like, what's going on? And I remember Majid was on the other side of the room, and he ran up and he's like, John, it be like say Emmanuel has won, or Emmanuel has won. And so we knew that, oh my goodness, if there's an envelope and they've mentioned Emmanuel Apea's name, then because Emmanuel had already won for Best Director already. So if they had mentioned his name again, then it meant that we had probably won Best Picture. So every Ghanaian in there was standing in our corner, and then they read it out. And the Best Picture for 2008 goes to Revell Films, Emmanuel Apea, Run Baby Run, and the whole place went completely electric. And I think that one and the win in Los Angeles as well was one of the best moments in my life in the entertainment sphere.
One other question we want to ask you from Rolex Texan is, what drives you?
What drives me? Well,
I don't mean drive. I don't mean drive. What drives you?
Yeah, you got me. Well, actually, I was going to say what drives me is my plane, because I have a private jet. No, I don't. What drives me? I'll tell you what drives me. Being able to make a difference. Being able to produce quality stuff that stands the test of time. That whether it's 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years, people actually look and be like, oh, this is good stuff. And I remember once when I was in England and someone was talking about an episode of Home Sweet Home. So it was just like last year, and they were talking of an episode from 2003 that they actually seen on British TV. And I was telling them that was from about 9 years ago, and they couldn't believe it because the quality was high, you know, and that's what drives me, coming out with products that are good quality, that stand the test of time, and that make a difference, make people laugh, make people entertained. And a lot of the time, I think in entertainment, we think it's all entertainment and nothing else. But I think we can do entertainment and have things as well that bring social problems that are out there into the open for people to discuss it and have views and opinions on it. And a lot of the time, we think that entertainment and having a message are things that are totally mutually exclusive. But that shouldn't be the case. We can do things that are entertaining, that have a message as well. And I think that's what drives me to come out with products that make a difference, that change lives. Pretty much like Tigo Cash, but that makes people's lives much simpler and is more efficient.
Sabilia and so many other fans want to know, are you married or seeing someone?
Yes, I am married. But you can call me. No, not really. I'm married. She's a very lovely lady. And we're happy.
Finally, Sam Jefferson wants to know, is it really stress-free to send money through Tigo Cash? And we hope you've used the product.
Oh, certainly I've used it. Initially, to be honest, I was quite skeptical. But for me, the no wahala tagline actually does work. It's very convenient and it's very easy to send or receive cash. And I've tried it many times. All I do is just put cash on my account and I send it to whoever I want to, anytime when the need arises. And I love the 15 minutes free airtime I get as well when I send and receive cash, obviously. But you know what I like to do sometimes? I like to send cash just to my mom, and when she receives the SMS, Usually she calls me and she's like, oh, JK, the stone that the builders rejected. And so I just always send her money with Tigo Cash, just to hear her say that, you know, I just enjoy it. And being such a busy person, I can't be going around town all the time trying to send money if I have to. So for me, Tigo Cash is just, it's like a savior to me. It's efficient, it's fast, it's reliable, and it's easy.
Thank you, John, for answering all our questions. We'll be looking forward to see you in the new series of Home Sweet Home.
And thanks to Tigo Cash for having me here as well.
We'd like to say a big thank you to our Tigo Cash subscribers out there and our fans of Home Sweet Home. We'll be sending you Tigo Cash hampers full of goodies very soon. Thank you.
Tigo Cash, no wahala.